Hey folks, we're going to look at the last section we're going to get into here is subqueries. The SQL functions is essentially just a big table of these are all the things you can do with tons of examples. There's just so many of them. Just go look it up. Know that it's in there. Relational set operations are not all that interesting, and then crafting select queries is just a quick read as well. So a subquery is a query that runs inside of a query. Right? This idea that, okay, I want to get everything that matches something else. So I need to run another query here. So we can say, hey, I want to get all of my products, select my star from product, where the product price is greater than or equal to, and I'm going to do, in parentheses, a subquery. I want to select the average P price from product. So my subquery is select, not select. Select is going to say, okay, get the average, query that, then give that to the query here, the outer query. So this is the inner or the subquery. It's passed to the outer query. So it's going to go calculate what the average price is and then use that in our next query to find out, okay, what are all the products? Hey, that ran so much faster now. Maybe it was just Firefox. It's working a little better here in Edge. So we'll get all of our products that are cost more than the average or equal to the average. Right, it's pretty cool. So we can run a query inside of another query. It's a nested query, right? An inner query or an outer query. We got lots of cool options here when we're doing our queries. Other times you might say, okay, I want to select where, how about the V code is in, and we could say select V code from vendor where vendor dot, I don't know, what do we have here for vendor? I think we had state, right? Vendor dot v state was equal to, and I forget what state we had here. Maybe we have Texas, maybe? We'll take a look, see if that gives me anything. So this is another way to write essentially a join here, right? It's actually going to perform two queries versus the join. So it works a little bit differently behind the scenes, right, where this is going to be running this query, feeding the results to the in clause. Right? We could also, write that. Oh, this isn't zoomed in. I'm sorry. Let me see if I can zoom it in a little bit. Just a little here, make that a little nicer on the eyes. We could write the same query here with the join. We could select star from product, inner join vendor on vendor.vcode, vendor vcode is equal to the product.vcode, where the vendor.vstate, or we can, that one's unique. Vstate is only in one table. So vstate equal tx. All right, so there's nothing here. We didn't get any results. So I don't actually remember what we had in vendor. So let's do select star from vendor real quick and see what we get out of just vendor. So if you just highlight a query, you can hit run just that portion that's highlighted versus running everything. So, okay, so tx was not good for our state. Let's see, what do we get here for state then? State. Okay, how about Tennessee? TN. There we go. So we can do TN. So these both these queries will do the exact same thing. In this one, though, we're only getting results from the product table. This one, we're going to get results from product and vendor, or the columns, right? So if you wanted just the product columns, you could say product.star. Only give me the product columns from product inner join vendor. Right? We can do both. It should work for us. Oops, I'm missing a right parenthesis. I'm missing a right parenthesis. I must not have had something highlighted right. Okay, here we go. All right, so we got a couple products from vendors in Tennessee. Let's try it again with this. We had 6 results. We should get the same 6 results with this inner query. So again, it's another way of accomplishing a task. Depending on what our database is doing, right, behind the scenes, an inner query might perform better than a join. Really just kind of depends. Like if you're trying to say, hey, there's like 1,000 things in this in list, this is not going to work very well for you, right? So usually the join is going to perform better with our database, but there's some special cases. And you can learn more about that as you get into more database administration sort of things. We can have all sorts of cool subqueries that we run with ins, with other matches. Yeah. So a couple of good examples here in the book you can go through. We can do it with havings. Yeah, awesome. So I think we're in pretty good shape. There's a couple funky cases it goes through. This select essentially makes a virtual table. It's kind of funny there. I wouldn't worry too much about it. That's a little bit more advanced than we're going to need. Yeah, and then the correlated subqueries, again, that's more advanced than we're going to need. We can skip past that one. It's going to run, essentially it's a loop for us. Yeah, awesome. The exist subquery is essentially another way of checking like if it's in the result set. So exist is the special operator. So if we get any rows, it'll run the main query. If we don't get anything, it just won't run. So we can use that exists to check whether or not we got any rows back from the subquery. So not just a particular, hey, if it's in, if I get anything back from this result, I want to go do something here with exists. So you got a lot of like specialty operators. We're not going to get too advanced into most of those. Just know that they exist and know that you can go look them up, I think is the important thing there. Those are going to take a little bit more practice, a little more getting used to. We just want to get our feet wet with these selects. So we'll get the data out here. I'll get you some logins later today, and then we can go from there. And we should be able to actually start having a lot of fun looking at data, kind of exploring it now as we go. All right, folks, take care.